Good afternoon. Welcome back to the second session. To our guests in the gallery, thank you. Your presence is appreciated. Just to draw your attention to the fact that you're not allowed to participate in the proceedings of the day. To the administrators, welcome. I now ask the Secretary to read
13, Cultural Affairs and Sport, Western Cape Appropriation Bill.
Thank you. I see the Honourable, the Minister, Minister Marais.
Honourable Speaker, it is indeed an absolute pleasure and honour to once again present to this House and the Greater Western Cape community the Department of Culture Affairs and Sports budget for the 2018-19 financial year. I will elaborate on how the department has allocated the appropriated R760,734,000 to enable a socially inclusive, creative, active and connected Western Cape. The following presentation embodies our commitment to responding to the needs of the communities we serve. It also highlights the instrumental role the department fulfills in nation building, in inspiring hope and in holistic development of the individual through sport and culture affairs. Speaker, we find ourselves in an ever-changing socio-political climate, one characterized by a national nonchalance to the dire straits our people face on a daily basis. As a result, a new culture of hopelessness and despondence has left our youth uninspired and unmotivated to be better versions of themselves. This is evident in the realities our youth act out on stages through our various drama festivals across the province. Stories of unemployment, teenage pregnancies, substance abuse, absent fathers, gangsterism, abuse, and the lack of viable opportunities take center stage when our youth are afforded a platform to express themselves. Speaker, a mindset shift is urgently required to grow as a people and to offer our youth better prospects. It is the duty of this department and government as a whole to allow our people to critically see their environments differently and to establish their rightful place in taking ownership of their circumstances and communities, which inculcates a sense of belonging, pride and will to prosper, which in turn lets our children dream bigger and imagine better futures for themselves. The question that arises, how do we then deliver on our mandate with less than what we had when we already started with the bare minimum? The 4 programs within the department speak directly to redressing the damaging effects of hopelessness and social ills as they contribute to positive youth development and negotiate a collective identity, one which inspires prosperity to accelerate unity, hope, reconciliation, respect, pride and a celebration of our diversity and simultaneously creates an enabling environment for all who call the Western Cape home. Vir die 2018-19 boekjaar word program 1 administrasie R66.365.000 toegeken. Hierdie toekenning stel die departement in staat om diensuitnemendheid te bereik deur voortdurende verbetering van finansiële bestuurspraktyke. Hierdie toekenning sal ondersteuning bied aan alle ander programme en stel hulle in staat om dienslewering aan almal in die Weskaap te verbeter. 'n Toegewyde R32.363 miljoen sal 'n algehele finansiële bestuursondersteuningsdiens aan die departement verskaf, insluitende finansiële bestuursdienste aan die 3 openbare entiteite wat aan my kantoor rapporteer: Weskaapse Kultuurkommissie, die Weskaapse Taalkomitee en Erfenis Weskaap. Al 3 hierdie entiteite is vandag in die galery verteenwoordig. Ek maak van hierdie geleentheid gebruik om die amptenare van ons bekroonde departement teenwoordig vandag en in die departement onder die leiding van ons departementshoof, meneer Brent Walters, te erken. Ek dank u almal vir die professionele gees waarin u die inwoners van die Weskaap deur middel van kultuursake en sport beïnvloed. Die toegewyde ondersteuning van die ministeriële personeel wat ook vandag in die galery verteenwoordig is, word baie waardeer en gaan nie onopgemerk nie. Contrary to the popular belief that knowledge is power, I am of the opinion that the power instead lies in the expression of that knowledge and, more importantly, in it being understood by another. The 2005 UNESCO Global Convention on the Protection and Promotion of Diversity of Cultural Expressions recognizes that culture contributes to development holistically, both socially and economically. The Convention affirms that cultural diversity should be celebrated and protected. By making diversity accessible to all, it increases our range of choice and helps nurture human capacities and values. It argues that when diversity is celebrated, it allows for a more complete realization of human rights and fundamental freedoms central to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Cultural diversity can be protected and promoted only if human rights and fundamental freedoms such as freedom of expression, information and communication, as well as the ability of individuals to choose culture expressions, are guaranteed. Program 2, Cultural Affairs, is central towards achieving these goals, creating the enabling environment to expression to flourish through arts, culture, museum, heritage and language-related services. For the 2018-19 financial year, Program 2, Cultural Affairs, is allocated R111,917,000. Speaker, this amount may seem significant in rands, but the increasing number of requests from communities and organizations immediately informs us that the demand certainly outweighs the supply. We are forced to become innovative with the very little funds available to us. Our department continues in its resilient efforts to rebuild the once divided nation through cultural affairs and sport. We strive to promote, advocate for and preserve cultural affairs, and we cannot do so successfully and, more importantly, sustainable without the support and partnering with those who ardently drive this very vision, mindful of all who call the Western Cape home. In achieving sustainability, we have increased our efforts to encourage collaborations to expand skills and opportunities. We have also reviewed and reconsidered cultural services and programs offered to the youth so as to make provision for relatable engagements to assist in navigating through the Western Cape's diverse culture landscape, fostering understanding, tolerance and mutual respect for differing cultural backgrounds. Speaker, our long-standing partnership with Artscape, represented by its CEO Dr. Marlene Leroux and her staff in the gallery here this afternoon, and the Baxter Theatre, represented by Fahim Stellenboom in the gallery today, is testament to this very goal. Both theatres have made considerable strides in diversifying and transforming theatre stages so that it integrates and reflects realities that resonate with our youth and communities within the Western Cape. The Baxter Theatre Centre was bursting with song, dance and the exuberance of youth at this year's Zabalaza Festival. The awe-inspiring celebration award winners as well as nominees at the festival's closing ceremony induces goosebumps of pride and augmented the urgency in which we need to create an even more enabling environment for our developmental artists to flourish. Speaker, during the past financial year, in excess of 18 million was invested in professional organizations, NGOs, culture tourism, as well as the umbrella bodies of the minstrels, Christmas bands, and Malay choirs. We received 227 applications for funding to the value of approximately 103,266,000 rand, a clear indication of the need for support in this sector. Through partnerships and collaborations, youth were exposed to various environments where the arts are at the forefront of job creation and skills development. The funding of cultural organizations has allowed us to facilitate the interaction between the larger professional companies, festivals, and community organizations and break the rural-urban divide. Through partnerships, twinning and exposure, we have advanced both the artistic and organizational capacity within communities and promoted social inclusivity at various levels through our initiatives. Speaker, one of our beneficiaries to receive funding from Program 2, Cultural Affairs, performed only but a screenshot of their expertise during lunch. Represented by its co-founder, Lawrence S. Steve and Tanya Majavi, in the gallery today, Zip Zap Circus School combines their skills to contribute to a better South Africa by developing the leaders of tomorrow through creating a safe space for children and by practicing and teaching equality, kindness, respect, good manners, love and compassion for one another, all of which is currently lacking in many of our communities. With humble beginnings, under, in, and swinging from a tree in their founders' backyards, and through ongoing collaborative efforts, children and youth who were previously labelled failures in conventional school settings are now performing for world leaders and travelling the world to represent our beloved country. They are succeeding at growing into independent adults who contribute positively to the economy, and they personify actual role models for others, empowering our communities with empathy and hope. The various programs run at ZipZap indeed support our provincial strategic goals of improving education outcomes and opportunities for youth development, as they are the first in South Africa to develop a professional circus qualification to provide vocational apprenticeships to at least 50 learners between the ages of 16 to 26 years old by 2020. Our department thrives on ensuring that the organizations we are associated with achieve their ideals and objectives, and especially in the arts, we celebrate artistic excellence when achieved. The organization over the last 26 years left a mark in the Cape Town arts sector and the circus industry worldwide. Their school touches 2,000 youth each year in 9 different programs, absolutely free of charge. ZipZap has proven its worth of every investment, and as a matter of fact, they continue to give back on a regular basis. Last year, ZipZap started an innovative collaboration oration of their craft with another of our beneficiaries, the Cape Town Philharmonic Orchestra, which has fused the genres. It is clear, with the 34,330,000 rand appropriated to arts and culture, we will continue to improve the self-esteem of our youth and identify in them talents they would otherwise not explore, while creating economic opportunities through the arts. Speaker, in the coming year, we will steer a choral music resurgence in the Central Karoo together with Cape Town Opera, Western Cape Choral Music Association, and communities in the Beaufort West region. It is our intention to maximize the potential of choral music in the Western Cape through drawing our partners closer and strengthening networks we have made. Our collaborative work has afforded youth an opportunity to experience both the artistic, professional stages and technical aspects of the arts. A new approach to craft development has been introduced, whereby museums will be used as outlets to promote, market and sell crafts. Our aim is to ensure the upward mobility of crafters throughout the value chain. In order to succeed, we need to further nurture and develop our relationships with the national and provincial departments, professional organizations, municipalities, academia and key persons in the art fraternity who to date have never faltered in their support for all we do. For this, we profusely thank them. Speaker, museumdienste sal R60.443.000 van die algehele 2018-19 departementele begroting ontvang. Museums neem gewoonlik klein getalle mense in diens, maar verteenwoordig 'n toegangspoort tot die toerisme-ekonomie vir die meeste klein dorpies. Die ontwikkeling en bevordering van toerisme kan die sosio-ekonomiese toestande verbeter. Toegang tot museums vir voorheen gemarginaliseerde gemeenskappe is belangrik om die visie van 'n maatskaplik inklusiewe samelewing te realiseer. Gegeewe hierdie doelwitte is museumaanbieding uiters belangrik. Die museumdiens sal dus voortgaan met sy program van transformasie deur die hernuwing van uitstallings en gemeenskapskonsultasie by geaffilieerde museums. Aan die einde van die 2017-18 boekjaar is 'n nuwe raad van trustees vir die Kango-grotte aangestel. Ons vertrou dat die nuwe raad die negatiewe gevolge van die destydse ANC-regering se wanbestuur suksesvol sal teenwerk. Die Houtbaai Museum is besig om 'n samewerkingsooreenkoms met die Dennis Goldberg Legacy Foundation Trust te stig, wat daarop gebuk is om die House of Hope, 'n nuwe kuns- en kultuuronderwys en opleidingsentrum in Houtbaai te bou. Professor Dennis Goldberg het aktief gewerk aan die bevryding Suid-Afrika en is 'n bekende anti-apartheid en menseregte aktivis. Die museumsdiens sal voortgaan om 'n wesenlike bydrae te lewer tot werkskepping deur middel van die uitgebreide openbare werke program, of soos ons meer algemeen bekend die EPWP. In 2017-18 is meer as 170 werksgeleenthede binne museums moontlik gemaak. Die museumsdiens sal kyk na opsies om werkskeppingsgeleenthede verder uit te brei in 2018-19. Die museumdiens sal 2 nuwe reisende uitstallings ontwikkel om museums te ondersteun in hulle pogings om besoekers te lok en te behou. As deel van die aktiwiteite wat daarop gemik is om inklusiewe gemeenskappe te bou, sal Drosdui Museum, die Montetjie Museum en Stellenbosch Museum hul aanbod uitbrei deur verhale wat voorheen ontoeganklik was, soos die Khukhu geskiedenis en slawerny te behandel. For the 2018-19 financial year, Heritage Resource Services will receive R8,705,000. In the past financial year, there has been significant developments in the province's commitment to identify, conserve, protect and promote the heritage resources of the Western Cape province. In this regard, our department has steadily worked to promote significant archaeological sites as part of the country's tentative listing of a World Heritage Sites serial nomination for the early modern humans. Pleistocene occupation sites, which includes 3 sites in the Western Cape, Deep Kloof Rock Shelter, Blombos Cave and Pinnacle Point Site Complex. Integrated conservation management plans have been developed for each of these sites, and the department is working to establish the Western Cape Management Authority structure for these sites over the next few months. The development of a nomination dossier for the Western Cape sites is in progress, and all these efforts form the basis for the further development of an archaeological paleontology heritage tourism route, which aims to promote heritage tourism in the province. The department has been actively involved in the technical committee of the National Resistance and Liberation Heritage Route in respect of 3 sites in the Western Cape. These sites include the Robben Island prison landscape, sites related to Nelson Mandela's route to freedom. These include the Mandela House at Drakenstein Correctional Facility and Cape Town City Hall. And finally, the site related to the first confrontation between Koe herders and the Portuguese in 1510, referred to as Tussen die Riviere, referring to the Liesbeek River and the Black River. A Provincial Heritage Resource Management Bill is currently being drafted, which the department envisions will create much required certainty in as far as how development and heritage conservation can coexist in order to promote economic growth and job creation. In recognition of and in celebration of the province's diverse heritage, the department through its entity Heritage Western Cape has declared the site of the Rocklands Civic Centre and Rocklands Mitchells Plain as a provincial heritage site. The significance of this site relates to the national inaugural launch of the United Democratic Front at the locale on 20 August 1983. In addition, the Awal Masjid in Bo-Kaap, Cape Town, has been declared a provincial heritage site as the oldest mosque in the southern hemisphere. Moreover, Heritage Western Cape will proclaim Hostel 33 in Lewandle as a provincial heritage site. Hostel 33 is a reminder of the brutality of the migrant labour system and is currently used as part of the Lewandle Migrant Labour Museum. Speaker, geographical names provide a sense of identity and belonging to our communities. A highly emotive aspect of debate is the ongoing transformation of the heritage landscape in South Africa through changes in existing geographical names. There are more than 12,000 geographical names in the province of the Western Cape. In order to establish how communities feel about these names, I am proud to announce that the department has launched an audit of all offences names in the Western Cape. The deadline for submission is 31st of March 2018. Furthermore, the standardization and verification of all 12,000 geographical names in the Western Cape is progressing well. This process involves researching the historical background of every name, capturing the information, and correcting the spelling of geographical names where necessary. Speaker, I am delighted that our Oral History initiative, aimed at documenting the oral histories of Western Cape residents for further generations to celebrate the heritage, is going from strength to strength. Much of the history of our communities is preserved only in the minds of the storytellers. Oral testimonies recorded on video are available at the participating libraries and the provincial archives. The OHI is one of the department's most welcome projects across the province. After each rollout, more residents are keen to be interviewed to share and document their stories. Since its launch in 2015, approximately 193 interviews have been documented, as the OHI has already been rolled out in each district. Speaker, following the success of the OHI, the couple Dion Lawrence and Jody Abrams approached us in late 2016 to assist in the production of the VR TV series, Wat is in 'n Naam?, in which they explore their roots through their family stories. Some of the episodes were filmed at the Western Cape Archives and Record Services, where they researched the content. The Archive and Record Service provides family history, research assistance to the public who are interested in tracing their family history using archival records. Oral history seeks to provide a missing narrative in the history of the people of the Western Cape, which may have been carried from generation to generation through oral tradition. Both these services are indicative of our department's dedication and contribution to social history and inclusivity. The series, Wat is in 'n Naam?, promotes the services available at the archives and shows in real terms the importance of tracing and knowing your family history. The production has garnered much attention and continues to increase its viewership, which resulted in the inclusion of Emo and Michelle Adams' personal history journey as well. Heartfelt gratitude is expressed to Dion and Jody for their ongoing support and passion to drive social inclusivity through arts and culture affairs. Speaker, met die R5.377.000 toegewys aan die departement se taaldienste, sal ons voortgaan om taalsteundienste in al 3 die amptelike tale van die Weskaap in al die departemente van die provinsiale regering en tolkdienste waar moontlik te verskaf, insluitende Suid-Afrikaanse gebaretaaltolking en NAMA. Dit is ons mandaat om kultuur binne die Weskaap te bewaar, te bevorder en te ontwikkel. In ooreenstemming met die mandaat is die tradisionele manlike inisiasieprogram ingestel en die program het sedert 2008 geweldig uitgebrei. Dit het beteken dat samewerking met gemeenskappe, praktisyns, staatsdepartemente en entiteite soos Cape Nature, munisipaliteite en tradisionele chirurge en versorgers nodig was. Speaker, laat my toe om my meegevoel aan die familie en geliefdes van jong mans wat in die somerseisoen gesterf het, uit te spreek. Ek wil almal die gerusstelling gee dat die departement en sy vennote in die gemeenskap sal voortgaan om stelsels en meganismes in werking te stel om risiko's te verminder en uiteindelik 'n veilige en gesonde inisiasie deurgangsriete te verseker. Gedurende die nuwe boekjaar sal die departement sy intervensies en ondersteuning versterk, insluitende die registrasie van tradisionele chirurge en versorgers. Speaker, Library and Archive Services are allocated R349,566,000 to promote, develop and transform sustainable library, information and archive services. In 2009, the Western Cape had 350 public library service points. I am happy to announce that we now have 371, which translates to 41 more communities being empowered. We also currently have 222 rural libraries with 1,076 PC workstations with free internet access to the public. A total of 184 of these libraries are part of the Western Cape Broadband Project and 125 have 24/7 Wi-Fi outside the library. Since 2009, 26 new libraries have been built. 17 of them were full funding from the department's conditional grant. Speaker, our department supports the holistic growth of individuals through sport development and sport promotion. In addition to promoting cultural affairs, we allocated $185,523,000 to Program 4 Sport and Recreation to use sport as a tool to offer our youth an alternative to the social ills ravaging our communities. Speaker, in the wake of the worst drought to hit the Western Cape in decades, sport participation has been negatively affected. There are an estimated 1 million sports people in the city of Cape Town and the Greater Western Cape who play one or more of the 73 recognized sporting codes. Speaker, there is also approximately 120,000 learners who participate in school sport. It goes without saying, due to the water's restrictions, there has been and will be a decrease in sporting participation, in sporting events, in income for clubs, in sporting tourism, and we then subsequently run the risk of the possible increase in social ills as our youth are not as involved in the respective codes as they once were. Speaker, sport fields and the maintenance thereof falls under the ambit of either the relevant municipality or school. Sport club and federations making use of these facilities have to adhere to the water restrictions implemented by the municipality as well as the water saving efforts agreed to by the various federations. To date, in support of continued sporting activity, our department engaged with the custodians of the sport in the Western Cape through the various sport federations. The Cape Town Sport Council held a meeting with the federations with representation from the City of Cape Town, sharing challenges and successes. Different clubs have become innovative in their measures to ensure continued sport participation while water restrictions have been imposed. A rugby club in Kaalmoor instead positively considered the challenges as a team-building exercise and has since February 2018 requested each team member to bring at least 2 litres of their grey water to practice sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays in a bid to maintain the grounds to allow for future games to be played at the facility. To benefit the upliftment of clubs and communities, it is indeed important to incorporate a whole-of-society approach as we all have an instrumental role to play in reducing demand on our natural resources. Speaker, to further our support of continued sporting activities in the province, our Sport Directorate has also allocated 540,000 rand to the Drakenstein, Cape Agulhas, Laingsburg, George and Saldanha municipalities. Each municipality is to receive 108,000 rand to drill a borehole at a facility crucial to allow sport to continue. This amount will cover the cost of drilling the pump as well as the reservoir tank. Speaker, with the appropriated 45,486,000 rand, the Sport Directorate will support 131 sport federations, an additional 11 more than the previous financial year. 6 district sport councils, all of which is represented by the respective chairpersons in the gallery today, and the Western Cape Provincial Sport Confederation through transfer funding. The Club Development Program continues to support 180 clubs through provision of capacity building, transport, equipment and attire. Speaker, an amount of 5,473,000 rand will support the 131 federations, of which 260,000 will be allocated for transformation projects. 400,000 will be set aside for assistance to athletes and administrators performing international duty. Speaker, this financial support to accredited sport structures enables the various federations and sport councils to fulfill their mandate by promoting and developing the respective codes in the Western Cape. The funding of the federations promotes greater participation in sport, social inclusion and contributes to a healthier lifestyle amongst all who call the Western Cape home. Through their respective development, administrative, transformation and capacity building projects, sport federations will nurture and develop our athletes with potential from grassroots to elite levels. These athletes, coaches and administrators participate at national, international spheres and serve as role models and beacons of inspiration which contribute to the overall empowerment of our communities, particularly the disadvantaged areas. Speaker, to ensure that the Western Cape Provincial Government's objectives are achieved, sport federations have accepted that the sport development, growth and transformation agenda will be followed. Speaker, therefore, the following historical disadvantaged sectors of the Western Cape sport community will be given preference in terms of development programs: our rural areas, our youth, our women and sport for people with disability. In April, I will personally be presenting the following funds to the six sport councils and district municipalities in support of the respective federations. Cape Winelands to receive 1,170,000 rand, the West Coast 530,000 rand, Eden 1,390,000 rand, Cape Metro 1,740,000 rand, Overberg 280,000 rand, Central Karoo 90,000 rand. For us to constructively contribute to nation building and to offer better prospects to our youth, we have to invest in community building first. We have established various partnerships to encourage community support, participation and unity. Amongst many others, the department has strengthened its partnerships with Nedbank, Old Mutual and other organizations. In the past year, we have also engaged with various stakeholders who are genuinely determined to uplift communities through sport, and we will continue our collaborative efforts to offer our youth the very best we possibly can. I look forward to further engagement with Bonga Cycling Academy, managed by the 27-year-old Mr. Bonga Nkubane and team in the gallery today. I was fortunate to visit the academy in Makaza, Kailicha, and was left hopeful and inspired by the remarkable efforts selflessly conducted in the area with the buy-in of the community to create greater opportunities for their fellow youth through sport and education. Speaker, to boost economic growth and job creation in each district, we will again provide financial support to major events in this financial year. These include mega events like the Cape Town Cycle Tour, Two Oceans Marathon Race, the Cape Town Marathon, the Otanika Wheelchair Challenge, Absa Cape Epic, the Foot of Africa Marathon, Sevens Cape Town Tournament, and the Western Province Ice Hockey International Championship. In partnership with the respective municipalities and district sport councils, we will continue to support municipalities in the provision of sport festivals in Knysna, Oudtshoorn, Mossel Bay, and George. Ek is bly om te bevestig dat ons departement die Golden Games in die Weskaap vir die 2018-19 boekjaar sal ondersteun. Die implikasie van die begrotingsbeperkings en beperkte finansiële hulpbronne is dat hierdie ondersteuning beperk word tot geleenthede op distriksvlak. 'n Bedrag van R80.000 vir elke distrik is geallokeer om die leemtes en die logistieke reddings van die projek te vul. Ons departement waardeer ons munisipale vennootskappe en ons het die grootste lof vir die verbintenis om ons senior burgers in elke distrik en die provinsie as geheel te ondersteun. Speaker, R33,337,000 is allocated to school sport. I congratulate our school athletes who, in spite of adverse circumstances, achieved outstanding performances this year, some who are present here today. I don't want to mention all the names. I will greet you at our tea and coffee just after this budget vote. Speaker, ons MOT-program word reg oor die provinsie by laerskole en hoërskole aangebied. Oor die algemeen funksioneer primêre skoolgebaseerde MOT-sentrums as die voerder vir hulle naburige hoërskoolgebaseerde MOT-sentrums. Op hierdie wyse word die leerder die geleentheid gebied om deurlopend toegang en blootstelling aan geleenthede wat deur die MOT-program aangebied word te ontvang vir 'n tydperk van minstens 12 jaar. MOT-sentrums is hoofsaaklik in kwesbare gebiede. Dit is die konteks waarin die meeste indien nie elk van die MOT-sentrums geleë is. Speaker, met die R53.807,000 toegeken in die MOT-program sal ons proaktief stappe neem om maatreëls in plek te stel om elke sentrum te verbeter afhangende van hulle spesifieke behoeftes. Speaker, the Western Cape Government is leading government innovative to ensure low and no-fee learners are able to access expanded education opportunities through the provision of comprehensive quality after-school programs. These offer learners an opportunity to find their passions, build confidence, learn valuable life skills, and improve educational outcomes. By expanding opportunities, the after-school game changer aims to provide young people with positive, constructive activities after school hours and reduce risk-taking, antisocial behavior. We create opportunities for learners to thrive and become active, productive citizens. In achieving this goal, we are targeting a footprint in at least 300 schools in the coming year. The Ministry and our After-School Game Changer Directorate have been engaging with various stakeholders such as Heal the Hood, Impact Through Sport, CAT for All, and OASIS to contribute to the sustainability of the MOT program, as well as to offer our learners increased options to which they can relate. Speaker, not only does sporting activities create a sense of belonging, teamwork, respect, self-confidence, passion, pride, hope, and unity, it also provides focus, direction, purpose, expression, and hope for the future, and especially hope for the future. It is for this reason that sporting activities have been identified as a contributing factor to the Western Cape Government's game changer of tackling alcohol abuse. If our youth are occupied with positive development programs, they can be deemed youth with potential rather than youth at risk, as antisocial activities such as substance abuse and gangsterism fail to then become a priority. In collaboration with OASIS, Reach for Our Dreams, our department launched the pilot project of the 4-a-side alcohol harms reduction game changer program in Kailicha and Guguletu to test the response to such an initiative. At the venue in Kailicha, stronger security measures and neighborhood watches were introduced to encourage participants from rival conflicting gang areas to join us on a Friday and Saturday night. Pamphlets were also distributed to the area to encourage youth to join. Speaker, the objective here was to create a healthy sporting alternative on a Friday and Saturday night to those who typically frequent local liquor outlets, therefore positively occupying at least 30 participants per night per venue for 4 to 5 hours. Attendance and participation in the program increased over a 10-week period, totaling approximately 168 participants in Kailicha and 162 in Guguletu. We are grateful to the ACES team led by Mr. Cliffy Martinez and coaches Bongani Matiso and Sergio van der Ros. They have undoubtedly made a significant impact in the lives of those they supported and will continue to empower in this coming financial year. In conclusion, Speaker, our department plays a fundamental role in the social inclusivity of our diverse population, which inevitably opens a much-needed dialogue on identity, allowing for respect, understanding and cultural acceptance, all of which creates a sense of belonging. I can go on and on about the long-lasting impactful work this department does for our communities. However, the time limit does not allow for me to elaborate on all of this. The people on the ground must, however, know about the positive developments amidst the controversy. Our youth must be provided with beacons of hope as they find themselves in vulnerable spaces, and these role models exist in our sports people and rising arts and culture stars. Our people are in dire need of renewed hope that as a nation we are united in our will to flourish and progress. Hierdie departement, die toegewyde personeel en ons konstruktiewe programme het die vermoë om lewens in die Weskaap te verander. En die galerye sit vol vanmiddag van al ons organisasies wat ek nie kan noem nie, wat betrokke is om die Weskaap se gemeenskappe te verander en hoop te bewerkstellig. Ek dankie.
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Minister. I now see the Honourable Max.
Honourable Madam Speaker, on the 16th of February 2018, President Cyril Ramaphosa delivered his maiden speech
Order, please.
at the State of the Nation address, commonly known as SONA. This speech was welcomed like rain on dry land and like a summer's day in the middle of winter. A speech, I assume, not only inspired many South Africans and the rest of the world, but also, in particularly, inspired me. This was not only a speech that gave people hope and shaped expectations of a better government for the people, but also a speech that created fear amongst the corrupt few.
Olivier.
I recall the lyrics, Madam Speaker, of the late musician, Mr. Hugh Masekela, which the President shared during SONA. I want to be there when the people start to turn it around. When they triumph over poverty, I want to be there. When the people win the battle against AIDS, I want to lend a hand. I want to be there for the alcoholic. I want to be there for the drug addict. I want to be there for the victims of violence and abuse. I want to lend a hand. Send me to Mamina. The President, in so doing, brought culture into the main arena of nation building. And I personally want to thank him for that. The message of the President and the message of the late Hugh Masekela is a clear indication of how culture, as well as sport, unites South Africans behind a common vision of one nation, inspiring them to put the people first, but to parallel principles. This aim is not to criticize any course of action taken by elected officials, but to lend a hand to ensure a better South Africa for all who live in it. Madam Speaker, I have no doubt that when the late Mr. Masekela put these lyrics together, he had a DA-led Western Cape Department of Cultural Affairs and Sports in mind. Like Mr. Masekele, this department's vision is to create a socially inclusive, creative, active, connected Western Cape. To achieve excellence and inclusiveness in sport and culture through the effective, efficient, and sustainable use of our resources and through creative partnerships. Madam Speaker, to move towards excellence requires making the Western Cape the sports and culture center of South Africa. The DA will create the conditions for this through access and mass participation, talent identification, and skills development. I look forward to seeing this achieved during this financial year as the DA-led Western Cape government is on track to spend more than 99% of its 2018-2019 budget allocation. Madam Speaker, I know that the DA-led Western Cape government will achieve its vision because the DA goes above and beyond. During 2017 and 2018 financial year alone, this department provided 347 jobs through the expanded public works program to unemployed and unskilled individuals, as mentioned by the Honourable Minister. As I said, Honourable Speaker, the DA-led Western Cape government goes above and beyond. The DA-led Western Cape Department of Cultural Affairs, Honourable Speaker, is able to achieve its vision.
Order, please. Honourable Max, sorry, I just need to ask your supporters to just tone down a little so that we can actually hear you. There's too much noise. Members, your cooperation, please. You may proceed to Mami now.
Honourable Speaker, the DA-led Western Cape Department of Cultural Affairs and Sport is able to achieve its vision due to the coordination offered by its first program administration. The aim of this program is to provide financial and strategic management and administrative support. Speaker, this department goes above and beyond, as it will address its small budget allocation by incrementally increasing its budget over the next 3 years. Thus, the DA has a long-term commitment to ensuring that its vision is realized despite the challenges that are faced. I am pleased to see that the department's aims is to provide arts and culture, museums, heritage, language-related services to residents through its second program, Cultural Affairs. These crucial services, Madam Speaker, are in turn supported by public entities, including Heritage Western Cape, Western Cape Cultural Commission, Western Cape Language Committee, Geographical Names Committee, and proclaimed statutory bodies. Speaker, allow me once again to remind my colleagues that the DA goes above and beyond. The department demonstrated their commitment to achieve their vision through their second program, which calls for an audit of all offensive geographical names in the Western Cape. The Minister also alluded to that. This will assist in fostering social cohesion and encourage inclusivity, while also enhancing a common national identity, places and services in the Western Cape. This includes, among others, the management of library services and archives, which are vital for the transformation and transferring of knowledge from one generation to another. The DA-led government in the Western Cape commitment to excellence in supporting all residents is evidenced by its implementation of 232 libraries in rural areas. This year, the Library and Archives programs proposes new libraries and renovations to existing libraries. How does the DA go above and beyond? Not only are libraries and archives being
Honourable
built,
Olivier.
maintained and sustained, but they are also being upgraded with broadband through a municipal replacement funding program of 345 million. Madam Speaker, the fourth program, Sports and Recreation, aims to provide sporting and recreation activities available for the inhabitants of the Western Cape. The DA once again goes above and beyond. This program's aim will be achieved through its sub-programs, which include management, recreational activities, school sports, and mass participation, opportunity and access, development and growth. Madam Speaker, allow me to focus on the MOT program. The DA-led Western Cape's commitment to going above and beyond is demonstrated as inspectors are sent fortnightly to ensure that these aftercare facilities, which provide recreational activities including sports and arts, are working effectively and efficiently. The success of this program is evidenced by the stories of Kalen Yoran and Unati Makambi. Kalen started participating in the MOD program when she moved to Hout Bay, MOD program at Sentinel Primary School in 2009. She continued participating when she moved to Hout Bay High School MOD Center. She attended the program daily and moved to the next level, participation by joining the Hout Bay Football Club. She was called up by the national level in 2016 after attending trials and is currently attending Tuks University High Performance Center in Pretoria. Just 2 months ago, she was selected as the captain of the under-17 South African ladies team and led them to qualification for the under-17 Women's World Cup taking place in Uruguay in November 2018. Unati attended the MOD program at Walter Tika Primary School while attending Linge Primary School. He received a scholarship to study at Chris Hani Arts and Culture Focused School. Unati continued to attend the MOD program offered at Oscar Mpeta High School, where he received training by coaches after school. After matriculating, he received a bursary to study at the University of Cape Town. He is currently completing his diploma in dance education. Madam Speaker, once again prove the DA goes above and beyond. This department, Madam Speaker, commitment to providing services that benefit all of the province's residents is further seen as the department's partnership with the University of the Western Cape to facilitate a music literacy program. This program nurtures the musical talent of students from disadvantaged backgrounds by teaching them to read music. To date, 20 persons have graduated from the 3-year program. Another success story of the DA-led Department of Cultural Affairs and Sports is its focus on rural sport. I welcome the club development program, which aims to revive and revitalize clubs that have become non-functional due to a lack of administrative capacity, access to funding for transport, training kit and equipment, This opportunity is a step in the right direction as it proves more opportunities and access for sports to poorer communities and will create transformation within our national sporting teams. Madam Speaker, as a DA public representative, I would fail in my duty if I do not further commend the department under Minister Marais' leadership for once again achieving a clean audit whilst coordinating her various successful programs. I commend Minister Andrew Marais for the Cool to Be Me project in Guguletu. This provides our children with an alternative to a life of crime and an opportunity to develop a future as sports heroes with a high emotional intelligence. Speaker, it is clear that the DA goes above and beyond. The HOD, Mr. Brent Waters, is also to be commended as he was the recipient of the bronze medal for the best functioning department in the country. This is not a case of potluck, but is indicative of the extraordinary political commitment and leadership of my colleague, Minister Andrew Marais. Minister Marais, please note the following. Minister Marais.
Order.
Minister Marais, please note the following, and I quote, "The best leaders don't come down harder on people whose performance is lagging. They come to their aid," unquote. That is you. It must be noted that Artscape, under the leadership of the CEO, Dr. Marlene Leroux, has received a clean audit for 5 consecutive years. Artscape values its staff and is a front-runner in transformation, fraud, and risk management. During my visits at the institution, it was clear that Artscape aims to bring the theatre to the people. It serves not only a particular group, but people of all walks of life. Hence, last year, more than 300 learners saw professional productions at their school in Grabouw, where the voice winner, Robin Peters, also performed. Well done to Dr. Leroux, the CFO, and other seniors for their unselfish commitment to the service to the people of the Western Cape. Speaker, I would like to state unequivocally and without fear of contradiction that whilst President Ramaphosa and the late Mr. Masekela asked others to take action and to lend a hand, the DA's Minister Andrew Marais and her department were already in action in helping and directing.
Order, please.
Her presence, the presence of the audience here today, is testimony of the department's involvement and the leadership of Minister Marais. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, I fully support this budget, and I would like to thank the department, the HOD, civil servants for their hard work, and in particular, I would like to thank my colleague, Minister Marais, for a job well done. I want to lend a hand. Send me to Mamina. I thank you.
Here. Thank you, Honourable Max. I now see the Honourable Gopi. If we can just calm down. We have a member on the floor, please. Order, please, members. You have a speaker on the floor. You may proceed, Honourable Gopi.
Thank you.
Honourable Dankie, bedankt, alsjeblieft.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, this debate comes during the time in which South Africa is celebrating Human Rights Month. On the 21st of March, we celebrated Women's Rights Day, a commemoration of the Sharpeville massacre. It is important, Speaker, to highlight that fact because Marcus Garvey is reminding us that, I quote, a people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots, unquote. At this stage, allow me to relay a message from the Links Royal House. The message is saying, pleading with this government to recognize the Korana and other tribes as indigenous people in the Western Cape. They are also saying our Khoi language must be acknowledged and digitalized so it can be available on the internet for easy access to all. We have youth who are willing to engage in the advancing of the culture, heritage, but funding remained a huge challenge. This request is in line with Section 5(3) of the Western Cape Constitution. It is also in line with Section 30 of the Language, Culture, as well as Section 31, Cultural, Religious, and Linguistic Communication of South African Constitution. This department is failing the indigenous people in this regard. The Western Cape language policy aims, amongst others, to promote multilingualism amongst the people of the Western Cape and to elevate the status and advance the use of those indigenous languages of historically diminished status caused by the people of the Western Cape, such as the Khoi and the San languages. It is saddened that this budget does not make provision to support the elevation of the status of and advancing the indigenous languages. This department is also responsible to ensuring promoting of equal status of the 3 official languages of the province. It is really disappointing that the APP of this department was only in English. There were no translation of Xhosa and Afrikaans. When we raised that issue in the standing committee, they referred us to the discs that were available, but not in books. But that is not their only failure. This department is responsible for creating social, inclusive, creative, and a connected Western Cape. How do you create a socially inclusive society of the foundation of the most equal society such as the Western Cape? The gap between the rich and the poor is widened by the day. The DA's unwavering support and determination to protect property clause is contributing enormously towards maintaining apartheid special. Department that is still in existence today. This not only maintained the tale of 2 cities, the better served, northern suburb and southern suburb, and the trembling down Eidsig and other Cape Flats societies where young people are facing a bleak future. The minister in her speech when speaking today mentioned the need of communities we serve and young development and development of youth. Yet in Eidsig, there are no recreational facilities. The GA is closing down the only high school the community had. there is no libraries. The department, with close to 50% of its expenditure on libraries, didn't even think to build library in such a community. It is really not surprising that youth in Eitser and other Cape Flats communities turn to the life of drug and gangs. That school could have been a hope for that community if it was assisted by the departments that is thinking of developing such communities in terms of providing them with computers, having access to Wi-Fi, but no, instead they are told that the school will be closing down. This department is failing on its mandate and consequently pushing many young people into the undesirable life of crime. Put differently, many young people end up in the life of gangs as a result of the failure of this department and the provincial government to fund youth development initiative. The MEC is laminating that the EPWP integrated has been decreased by the national government. In her laminations, Municipal government indeed continues to show its bias towards the poor and the marginalized. What is regrettable, Speaker, is the huge decline in the total departmental receipts. This is reminiscent of a department is serious leadership crisis. The department must take ownership of its failure and not shift the goalposts by wanting to blame the national government. Let me reiterate, Speaker, we welcome the increase, both equitable chairs and conditional grant. Let me also tell you what is not welcome. The decrease in the budget in sub-program 2.2, Arts and Culture, which aims to facilitate the development, preservation and promotion of art and culture in the Western Cape. It's really unacceptable. Maybe if this department prioritizes this program, such pleas and complaints and the quote I open with wouldn't be there. Maybe the culture of the Korana people in the Western Cape could be promoted and preserved. Under Program 2, I note that transfers to NPOs has been decreased by over 16%. This is a direct onslaught on the arts and culture group in the townships who are responsible for taking youth out of the streets and rehabilitates them through drama over other activities. 28% of this department goes to compensation of employees. 50% is transferred to municipalities and entities. That is 78% of the expenditure. 33% of the 50% goes directly to municipalities. This is mostly used for the library and achieve services. This is relegating of the department core function to municipalities is unacceptable. Program 3, the library and achieve service, is a mandate of the department. Why is the minister then taking an important task such as this to the municipalities? Is the department is unable to execute its responsibilities? It must ask for assistance, or even better, the minister can ask to be relieved from her duties if she is not up to the task. Program 4 of this department is dealing with sport and recreation. Under the program, you get the major event component with a specific focus on hosting and contribute to the GDP of the province. It includes the academies, club development, recreation, as well as the MOD program. I want to speak briefly about this program. This department is planning to decrease budget for clubs in the rural areas. This can be picked up in what they said, that 50% of the budget is dedicated to the rural program. Therefore, a repositioning is necessary for club development. This department under the program aims to endeavor further the establishment of the environment within the MOD centers that promotes regular and sustained participation by the learners in after-school activities, which contributes towards positive youth development. It is really troubling that these programs are assisting the doubled youth in the province. A lot of money is being pumped into such programs, yet fails to address the plight of young people who are forced to the life of drugs and gangs, while Minister speaks of building self-esteem of youth. With all its aims mentioned above, this program is increasing the budget for school sport, a critical component of youth development. This department is also decreasing the budget for the MOD program. It is highly disturbing and disappointing that this department is decreasing this budget despite receiving an additional funding from the national government for these sub-programs. MOD centers for primary and high school, did the minister say when she's speaking. But here I'm speaking of a school that didn't receive any assistance from this department. The MEC and the department thought this budget are communicating a clear message that they are against youth development in the province. This assertion is further supported by the budget cut on training for library services. And the program for the compensation of employees is decreased. Is the department retrenching staff? Budget for social contribution is also decreased. The budget for training and development is decreased. By its own admission, the department say it spends a lot of money on catering, on departmental events, also the MOD program and the after-school activities require a lot of catering to sustain. Over and above these issues, there is a VAT increase which may affect the price of the food. On all its programs, except for Program 1, the department is decreasing its expenditure on catering, on departmental activities are massively decreased. It is really shocking, and MEC needs to explain this. Are they scaling down on the MOD program, or are they planning to decrease the number of activities for the department? I also see that the chair spoke about Unati that attended a MOD center at a high school in Hout Bay. So my question is, is this community of Eitzig not entitled to have a mod center where our children in such communities can be assisted in order for them to develop as all other kids. Having said all the above, this budget cannot be supported. I thank you, my speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Gopi. In the absence of the EFF and the ACDP, I now see the Honourable, the Minister. Order, please.
Baie dankie, Speaker. Baie
Honourable
dankie, Speaker.
Jantjie. Minister Wendy, it's in the
Baie
next
dankie.
session. I really hope you can hold on until then, Honourable Jantjie.
Baie-
You may
Baie
proceed,
dankie.
Minister.
Dankie, Speaker. Eerstens wil ek sê baie dankie aan advokaat Leonard Max vir sy volgehoue ondersteuning en die wyse waarop hy die staande komitee lei. En ook aan die staande komitee lede vir julle professionele oorsig en die konstruktiewe terugvoer. En ek wil noem, dit is vir my jammer dat die EFF en ACDP nie vandag in die huis is nie. Miskien is daar goeie redes voor, maar ek dink dit is jammer, want ek beskou hierdie portefeulje as een van die belangrikstes in die Wes-Kaap provinsie. Dan wil ek noem, agbare Gopi, ons het 'n biblioteek, die Adriaanse biblioteek is in stapafstand in Eitzig, so daar is 'n biblioteek beskikbaar en hulle kan soontoe gaan, dit is nie ver van hulle af nie. Dan
Order.
En dan ten opsigte van ons taal. Alle dokumentasie is in al 3 landstale beskikbaar. En ons onderhandel of ons is betrokke met die Koranna mense deur middel van ons kultuurkommissie. So ons gee erkenning en ons het engagements in the English word. Engagement with all our different culture groups. Daar is, hulle is ook besig, Nama word nie meer so baie gepraat nie, maar Nama word wel in ons departement na gekyk en hulle is besig met 'n vertalingsboek daaroor ook. Dan wil ek sê, dis my jammer dat u politiek speel met hierdie portefeulje. Ek verstaan waarvan jy afkom, maar ek dink nie dit is nodig nie. Ons moet in ons gemeenskappe kommunikeer, veral in hierdie portefeulje, op 'n manier. I know we politicians, but
Order, please.
this portfolio is not all about just politics. We must communicate with our people in a more far-reaching way than only to get across on a ballot paper. And that's all that I want to say. And thank you so
Order,
much.
please.
I want to say thank you so much for each and everyone in the gallery. As I've said, it's about 100 people that accepted the invitation. 95 or 90 of them are people that's involved in the communities on all levels, music, art, sport, on all levels in difficult circumstances. And therefore I applaud you. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. That concludes this vote. The House will be suspended for 5 minutes to allow guests and officials to exit, and we'll resume in 5 minutes. Thank you.